Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Standing, great seats anyway.
High drive, left field, going back McNeil, on the track, at the wall. He's done it again.
That's drilled to deep right center field, and Nimmo has tied the game.
Driven out into right field, on the run is Bowers going back, and he makes the play on the lead.
And Redhead put up the middle, that's a base hit. Alvarez around third, he'll come home with the lead run. And he slaps one over the bag, that's a fair ball, and that'll bring in two.
Ground ball up the middle, and booted by Gleyber Torres, and it's thrown away by Volpe. And there's a base hit, goes the other way. Driven out to left field and deep, McNeil back, turning, looking, see ya! A home run, two. Grounded inside third and fair, and down the left field line. IKF scores, an RBI for Volpe in 5-4 Mets. Now it is looped in the right center field, that's going to dunk in for a base hit. It's a two-run single for Bowers, and the Yankees have come back to take a 6-5 lead.
And he lines one left field base hit. 80 around third, he'll come in with a tying run. Room against Stanton.
High fly ball. Marte will make the catch. Tagging is McKinney. Payoff. Swung on and missed. He got him. The 3-2. He struck him out. What a performance by Holmes.
Today is Tuesday, June 13th, and the Yankees and Mets are kicking off the 2023 Subway Series. It's a two-game set in Queens, and it began with a matchup between Max Scherzer and Luis Severino. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right. Well, happy Flag Day Eve, everybody. Yankees take game one of the Subway Series on the road. And that was a wild game. That was one of the more wild games that we've had this season. And as my dad would call it, a battle of the inept. two teams that have really been struggling facing off. But Paul O'Neill said it best tonight. He said somebody's got to win. And the Yankees come out on top. A lot of energy in the stadium. It's good to see a little bit of offense from the Yankees for a change. We had home runs from Stanton, LeMahieu. We had a line drive single from Anthony Rizzo. So a lot of good positives. Some adjustments from Anthony Volpe that seem to have paid off. But before we get to all that, we have to talk about Luis Severino. In life, there are things that I'm pretty sure are true, even though I can't prove them. Like coffee tastes better in the morning. Can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure it's true. I can't prove that Luis Severino is injured, but I'm pretty sure Luis Severino's fighting through something. There's very little explanation for how his stuff and location was so good a few weeks ago and so terrible his last few starts. His body language is bad. Hitters are not missing anything. And it was so sudden. I just think he's pitching through something, and it won't surprise me at all if he ends up in the MRI machine pretty soon. Speaking of injuries, sounds like Harrison Bader will be back on Friday. He's going to a rehab assignment tomorrow. If all goes well, he should be in center field against Boston. Also on Friday, we're going to have a special event show at 6 p.m., and I want all of you there because this is going to be an important one. Pete and I are going to be discussing the recent Juan Soto murmurs of a trade. Look, I've seen some Yankees content creators post about whether or not, the Yankees could trade for Soto. But today you started to see some Padres people start talking about whether or not they would unload Soto. Even a good friend of mine who's a Padres fan, shout out to you, Brett, said, hey, would you guys consider a deal that headlined around Soto for Dominguez, maybe Dominguez and Volpe? And I wasn't sure how I felt about it. seeing Volpe make his adjustments tonight has me, a little bit more leaning towards no there, and especially the way the Martian has been playing lately. And I'm not sure it makes sense. I don't think you're one Juan Soto away from winning. But tune in on Friday at 6 p.m., and we will talk about it. And also call into the voicemail and let me know what you think. 718-899-1068. So today, Hal Steinbrenner held a press conference, and one of the things he talked about was how streaky Giancarlo can be. And that's something we talk a lot about on this show. When he gets hot, he can carry a ball club, and right now, the Yankees need somebody to carry the ball club a little bit, and he went deep tonight, so he got things started off in the first inning.
Home run for Stanton.
This night is a wrecking machine. The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
I remember after the pandemic ended, the first pitcher that the Yankees faced was Max Scherzer, I believe. And Giancarlo Stanton hit a ball about 483 feet into the bleachers at Nationals Park, which was empty at the time. So this was the fourth time in his career he's homered off of Max Scherzer. Mets answered right back, though, because Luis Severino had absolutely nothing tonight. I'm surprised he went as deep into the game as he did. Brandon Nimmo smoked a titanic home run to lead things off for the Mets. That tied things up at 1. He then walked 2 hitters and served up a single to make it 2-1 Mets. It could have been worse if not for an outstanding catch in right field by Jake Bowers. Here's a fun stat. Since Severino's come off the IL, he leads the league in home runs allowed. Attaboy, Louie. That's what we call Bronx cheer. 2 more runs from the Mets in the bottom of the second. Nice piece of hitting by Jeff McNeil. I got to admit, I love watching Jeff McNeil hit. There's something about those guys who are just classic contact hitters. Just, not up there trying to crush the ball, just trying to put the barrel of the bat on the baseball, hit them where they ain't. Won a batting title, I think, last year. This year he's only hitting about 276, but nice poke right there. I tweeted this, and it bears repeating. Pretty soon, Luis Severino's ERA is going to look like his phone number. He's just really struggling. He's got to put it together. And tonight, he did bounce back a little bit, but put the Yankees in a big hole early and made this game pretty stressful. Bottom of the third, there was a double play ball at second that would have ended the inning, but Gleyber Torres booted it, and then Anthony Volpe picked it up and threw it away. That loaded the bases with 1 out. Mets ended up getting another one. That made it 5-1. Yankees came right back, though. Line drive single for Anthony Rizzo. Nice piece of hitting by him. He's been really slumping. And he took a pitch on the outside part of the plate, just waited back on it, and hit it on a line drive to left field. That's what you love to see from him. That's what we need to see from him. That's what we need to see more from everybody. Stop trying to jack the home run every time and hit those line drives to the open part of the field where they're giving it to you. And the home runs will come. DJ LeMahieu.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Big 2-run shot for DJ, 7th of the year. Nice to see him pull the ball with authority. You watch this pitch, I believe it's coming up on the replay, 82-mile-an-hour hanger, and it made me sad, kind of, to watch Max Scherzer tonight. It's kind of like I would imagine the old-timers felt watching Willie Mays at the end of his career dropping fly balls and stuff like that. Max Scherzer's been a bulldog forever. He was somebody who has shut the Yankees down on numerous occasions. Used to throw 100 miles an hour. He's always had one of the best breaking balls in the game. And you feel like he's still got the attitude, but the tools aren't there anymore. Also, we should note that Anthony Volpe closed up his stance considerably tonight. I want to give a shout out to Pete Simonetti for posting. This is the first person I saw post this. There was a picture of his stance from 2 days ago, and it was open. And then maybe even. But today it was clearly closed. It was more Giancarlo-like. They clearly know that he's opening up that front side too early. So maybe you compensate by closing it a little bit more. That way it doesn't open up quite as early. And he smoked a line drive double down the left field line that I think if he was still in his old batting stance, he would have ripped it foul. So really nice adjustment, which deserves some recognition. Nice job by Anthony Volpe. Jake Bauers followed up with a 2-run single to put the Yankees out in front. He continues to impress. And he's not a bad outfielder either. He's made a couple of really nice catches, and he's got a good arm. 5th inning, Aaron Boone stuck with Severino despite having 103 pitches, and he promptly served up a game-tying single. That knocked him out of the game. Final line for Sevy, 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Just not the Sevy we're used to seeing. Top 6, Anthony Volpe picked up his second double of the game. This is one to watch out for. It might get changed. It might not. It was a kind of a soft line drive towards center field, right center. You thought for a minute that it might drop, but then it looked like the center fielder was going to catch up and make an easy catch, and he really should have caught it, but he just whiffed on it. He just stuck his glove out and squeezed his glove, but he misjudged where the ball was, and so he didn't get any leather on it, and it got scored a double. So, Volpe's hit some balls hard this year that, have been outs. This is, the old-timers will say, they'll even themselves out. This is an instance where it probably should not have been hit or been a hit. It probably should have been caught, but ultimately he gets a double. Donaldson picked up a sac fly to make it 7-6 Yankees. And that finished off the scoring. Mets threatened in the bottom of the 6th. Jimmy Cordero came in for Marinaccio. He did a fantastic job. Tommy Kahnle came in and threw a scoreless 7th inning. He still has not allowed a run. He's pitching very, very well. I don't know how you could be anything more or anything but impressed with Tommy Kahnle. The guy's come back to the Yankees, and he hasn't missed a beat. He was one of my favorite relief pitchers when he left, and he's got a 0.60 whip, so he's been very effective. The changeup has just got a ton of sink. Volpe flied out into the warning track in the 8th inning. Didn't miss a home run by much. I think I got a noise for that.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Just came up short. But I got to say, he hit the ball hard. So overall, you're looking at Volpe and you're saying tonight was a positive step forward, and he needed it. He absolutely needed it because he has been in a rut for a while. 2 for 4 with a pair of doubles, and he did not strike out. 8th inning, Wandy Peralta was not good. He loaded the bases with 1 out, and Aaron Boone decided to go to Clay Holmes. Biggest moment of the game, and Clay Holmes came through. Huge strikeouts for Lindor, of Lindor and of Marte. And then Mike King came in for the 9th and delivered a nice, easy, stress-free 9th inning, and the Yankees take game 1.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
Jonathan Chatton says Peralta has not been consistent at all, and I agree. And then Joe Higashi, Cassius Clay back to first half 2022 form. Cassius Clay, in case you didn't know, this was Muhammad Ali's original name. Cassius Clay. The boy's mama called him Cassius. I'm going to call him Cassius. Shout out to Eddie Murphy from Coming to America. Anyway, a lot of good belt candidates tonight. Stanton obviously broke out of things. LeMahieu had the big 2-run home run. Volpe with a couple of doubles. Could have gone with a team belt tonight, but really there was one guy, one performance that stood out above all else. A lot of you have recognized this in the comments, and we're going to go with it. Mr. Clay Holmes. Very nice job by Clay Holmes. Very clutch performance. As a few people have noted, he's getting on top of the sinker more. David Cohn pointed this out. Just the angle on the way that pitch is breaking is so much better. When it starts moving more side to side, it's going to be a tough night for him. And you can usually tell right away if he doesn't have it. And if he doesn't have it, he usually can't put it back together. But he's been really good for a while now. Now, if you hooked me up to a lie detector test or shot me up full of sodium pentothal, I probably said that wrong, and I had to tell you the truth, I'd say I'd still prefer a lockdown closer other than Clay Holmes. I still think he'd be a dominant setup man. In fact, he's somebody who's usually pretty efficient because he throws sinkers, and he might be able to give you 2 innings more often than not. But right now, the Yankees are sticking with him at the closer role, and hey, he's getting it done. He's getting it done. All right, let's get some. Parkson says King for closer. King got the save tonight, but for the most part, they've been giving Holmes that job over the last, I don't know. I think he closed out a couple of games recently. But tonight, I think he was probably going to close things out if you didn't have to go to him in the 8th inning. So I still prefer him in the 8th. I still think he's a dominant relief pitcher in the 8th inning, 7th inning even. And King, I also like King in like the 6th inning when it's tied, those high leverage spots. But, King as a closer, I think probably works out a little bit better. It might be the way they're leaning tonight. Let's see here. Frankie says, first belt for Mr. Clay Holmes. And then Taz says he earned the belt. He came through in that inning. And Landon says, 1 run allowed for Clay Holmes in his last 19 appearances. He's been good. I think, he says he likes being a spot man. I agree. I think that just suits him better. I honestly thought that they were going to try and get 5 outs from him tonight. But, the fact that they went just 2 outs and let him essentially be the setup guy tonight, I think was huge. I think he was huge. But they do let him close it out quite often. I think it's one of those situations where, he in June, a close game, I'd feel comfortable him closing it out, most of the time if he's pitching well. If we jumped right to the ALCS tomorrow, I don't know, because I've seen him unravel, and it's tough to watch a pitcher unravel with the command. But hey, hell of a job tonight. Hell of a job. Junior Gromas is Mariano Holmes. And then Joe Man says, someone gives Torres smelling salts when he plays the field.
Bing.
Derek says, do you think we will see Rodon pitch this season? I do. I think we're going to see him after the All-Star break, probably sometime mid to late July. That would be my guess. Frankie says the Golden Knights have scored more goals than the Yankees have scored runs tonight. That's hockey, right? I don't know. Who cares?
What?
Anyway, LV Sure says that was electric. That was a fun game. That was one of the more fun games of the year. The rivalry between the Yankees and the Mets obviously makes it even more so. But it's like when Duke plays Carolina. It doesn't matter the records. You're going to get a tight game back and forth. Hey, we got to do an ad notice here. Game Time. This episode is sponsored by Game Time. They are the app for last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed, concerts, sports, comedy shows, you name it, theater. Doug Rouse said he informed me that there's a difference between a play and a musical. I guess the musical has music, a musical number. So I did not know that, but it is what it is. Game Time can help you get to all your favorite plays or musicals or concerts with a click of a button. And they have stuff in pretty much every area. There's cancellation protection. So check out the app. I vouch for it. I've used it. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off and get started with Game Time. I gotta say. Oh, Juan Peralta says Wardy must be in shambles right now. Shout out to Wardy NYM. He's been on the channel a number of times. He is a Mets content creator, and he's good. But, it's got to be a tough season to do this for the Mets. The Mets are, I believe they have the highest payroll in baseball, and they've just been atrocious. And, they're making a mistake that, the Yankees made, quite frankly, a number of years ago, which is overpaying for over-the-hill pitchers. You got to get pitchers in their late 20s if you're going to sign them to a contract. You get them in their late 30s or early 40s. It usually doesn't work out too well.
Game over, man. It's game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Wayne Wilcox says, when is Judge coming back? Good question.
You gotta go.
It doesn't sound like they have a firm timetable, and that scares the hell out of me. That scares the absolute hell out of me. You know, it could be one of those situations where he's out till August. You just don't know. You just don't know. So, Chris says, safe to say that Clay Holmes is back. Let's just hope he stays back. You know, this is where a great pitching coach can make his presence felt by, you know, keeping guys within the lines, you know, coloring within the lines for a while. You don't want guys that go in and out of slumps as a hitter, you know, if you're a hitting coach, and you don't want pitchers that, you know, mess up their mechanics over and over again. Figure out what you did to correct it this time and use that next time he loses the zone and loses that arm slot. And sometimes arm slots can change like they did last year because of an injury. And, you know, you just hope that he stays healthy and keeps doing whatever he's doing tonight. Random Stuff says IKF actually hit a ball 107 miles per hour off the bat tonight. IKF's been swinging the bat a little bit harder. I mean, you see the leg kick, you see the nice firm swing. He's not a punch and Judy guy this year. Now, he's not exactly tearing the cover off the ball this season, hitting 243 with a 637 OPS. By the way, we should look at the box score. I don't think I pulled up the box score tonight. Let me go back and see if I can pull that up. Hang on just a second. We're going to go back this way. Yeah, so he's got a 637 OPS. Not great. Not great, but definitely hitting the ball harder than last year. 2 hits for Higashioka tonight, 2 hits for Volpe tonight. You know, Volpe, you got to think he hates walking up to the plate and seeing that gigantic 191 on that massive scoreboard they got at Citi Field. I'd like to get a few more hits in this game tomorrow, get over 200 by the end of the game. I don't know if it's possible. I haven't done the math, but you go 3 for 3 to start the game, you're probably over 300, or over 200 rather. Severino's ERA at 6.48. No good. No good. But other than that, the bullpen did a really nice job tonight. Marinaccio, Cordero, Canely. Peralta wasn't great, but Holmes, King, finished it off. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up tonight. I will be back after tomorrow's game, and then the Yankees have a day off Thursday. And then don't forget, Friday, 6 p.m., we're doing the Juan Soto show. Me and Pete, we're going to talk about whether or not that trade could happen, whether or not it even makes sense. So tune in for that, and we will see you next time.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.